What's up, guys? If you want to see me implement these strategies and trade live at the open, check out our live stream starting at 8:45 a.m. market time every weekday morning. Like I said, I go over what's moving in pre-market and then trade live at the open, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching. Okay, so one of my favorite strategies using the 5-minute chart is the opening range breakout. Now with this strategy, you want to use this opening range right here kind of as your guide. Okay, what I like to do is I like to wait for these first 3 candles on the 5-minute chart and then get in when it breaks these first 3 candles. Okay, so in this case, if you're going long, you want to wait for it to break this 143 area here. You can see there was some previous resistance as it formed its range, but once it broke past this range right here at $1.43, you can see everybody started hopping in the trade. You can even look at the volume and see the volume picked up massively once it broke this range right here, and it had a really nice big push up. Okay, so since it's a 5-minute chart, you want to use a little bit smaller size because you have to let it work for you a little bit longer and possibly set a little bit looser of a stop loss. Okay, so if you can see, it had plenty of room for you to make some profits here, but if you wrote it up for this entire big push for these 3 candles, that would be 15 minutes you would be holding it. And so that's ultimately why you need to use a little bit smaller sizing, because you got to give it a little bit more time to work with you, but it's still a very effective strategy, and it definitely can be profitable for your small day trading account. Okay, so the next 5-minute strategy that I like to use is the washout long setup. This one's a little bit different than the 1-minute washout long setup because this one you have to wait for it to wash out a little bit longer since it's a 5-minute chart. You can see here, this is a good example of it on CLSN, and on a 5-minute washout long setup, you want to wait for it to wash out some at the open and drop. You can see here the first 20 or 30 minutes of the market open, it dropped down a decent amount. Once it starts to reverse, a great entry that everyone is watching is right when it breaks this opening range high right here at about $3.45, and you can see the volume spike up massively once it does that because everybody's watching this point right here waiting for it to break. Okay, and so that makes the washout long setup on the 5-minute chart a pretty effective strategy. Okay, you can see here how much it pushed up after it broke that opening range. This one also broke the 350 right here, and like I've said a million times, the more strategies that are going on simultaneously, the better your odds are in that trade. So those two combined just help this one to push up really nicely, giving you plenty of room for profits here. And so that's why the washout long setup on the 5-minute chart is another one of my favorite strategies. Okay, and so the last strategy I want to go over using a 5-minute time frame is the simple flag pattern. Okay, and this, in my opinion, is a more effective strategy using the 5-minute chart just because you can see it a lot more clearly than you can if you were using a shorter time frame chart. Okay, you can look here on MNKD. It had this beautiful flag pattern here, and the point everyone's watching in this flag pattern is where that previous high was, right here at $4.75. Okay, and the reason everyone's watching this is because they can see this flag forming, and once it finally breaks that previous high, you can see the volume start to spike up massively, and it gives enough room for this really big push here, which is plenty of room to make some decent profits using, this 5-minute flag pattern. Okay, now when you use 5-minute charts, you're gonna have to let that trade work for you a little bit more when compared to shorter time frames, and that's just because the pullbacks can be a little bit deeper, but ultimately if you let it work for you and use a little bit smaller sizing, it can definitely work out for you. You also, like I said, want to use a little bit looser of stops just because the pullbacks are going to be a little bit bigger, like I said earlier. And so always remember that, guys, and try to let these flag patterns work for you if you're using the 5-minute chart, and you can definitely make some decent money on your small day trading account. Alright guys, so that's the end of this video. I hope you learned a little bit and you can use some of this stuff in the market. Be sure to come check out our live stream starting at 8:45 a.m. every weekday morning. I go over what's moving in pre-market and then trade my small account live at the open. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell next to it to get that live alert. And good luck in the markets on Monday. Thanks for watching, guys.